the edge of the chair. Feet and knees about hip width apart and in parallel. Spread your toes into the floor and try and feel equal weight through your feet. Think about scanning up through the body. So now that we've started it, the feet work up to the knees. So make sure that your knees are nice and stable. They're not falling in towards each other or falling out. And then take your focus to your hips and your pelvis. So equal weight on your sitting bones. You're not leaning more into one side than the other. And you're letting yourself settle and stack through the spine. So feel that you have stacked yourself over hips and pelvis, rib cage and head on top. Try and avoid pushing out through the rib cage in the chest. Think about trying to connect the rib cage into the body and lengthening up through the spine. So maybe imagine that you have a thread coming out the top of your head and it's pulling you up towards the ceiling. Relax your shoulders, draw them down the back so you feel nice and open across the chest, and try and let go of any tension in the shoulders. So relax your arms and your hands. Take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel that you're trying to focus the breath into your rib cage rather than down into your belly. So you're feeling a gentle expansion of the rib cage as you inhale, and then feeling the ribs closing as you exhale. With the breath, just letting go of any tension, feeling soft through the body. And now with your next few breaths, as you exhale, feel that you're drawing the tummy in. So naturally engaging the abdominals. So as you exhale, feel that the tummy draws in, belly button towards the spine, not too tense, just a gentle, natural connection with the breathing. So these deep abdominals will help to support you, help to stabilize you, and help to maintain this nice alignment, this posture that we've come into. So if you do start to feel that you lose that height, length through the spine, you feel that you're slumping, you've probably lost that connection through the center. So we're going to start with some nice movement through head, neck and shoulders to release. So first of all, take a breath. And as you breathe out, take ear towards shoulder. So just tip the head over to one side, feeling a stretch through the side of the neck. Just let the arms rest, let the shoulder relax away. Taking a breath in, breathing out as we bring the head back up, and now over to the other side. As you breathe out, tip the head. Hold it here again, relax the arms, relax the shoulder away. Taking a breath in, and out as we come up. Lovely. Let's go over to the other side again, and we're going to add to it. So taking the head over again, and now if you can, bring your hand onto the side of the head, and just draw yourself a little bit further into that stretch. So try and draw your head down a little bit further, increasing the stretch through the side of the neck. We're just going to hold it here for a moment to let those muscles release. Keep breathing. And now when you're ready, just take that hand away, bring the head back up, and now over to the other side again. So again, tip the head, and if you can, place the hand onto the side of the head, draw the head over a little bit further into that stretch. Might be a little bit tighter on one side. Breathing into the stretch, try and relax. And let's release and bring the head up. We're now just going to turn the head and look to the right. So just taking the head, look to the right side of the room. Nod the head and roll yourself over to the left and come up on the other side. So we're looking to the left side, we're going to nod again and roll ourselves over to the right and bring the head up. And again, nod the head and roll to the other side. Coming up and again, nod and roll. So this is just a nice gentle release through back of the neck and the shoulders. Don't roll too quickly. And again, we're just going to come over to the left. And this time, as we start to roll back, we're going to stop in the center. So nodding the head and bring yourself to the center. So you're looking down towards the floor. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to bring the head up. And we're going to look towards the ceiling now. So you're opening up the throat, taking the neck into a little bit of extension. And now take a breath in again as we nod. Chin towards the chest. So someone's just joined us. I'm just going to let them in. There we go. And continuing to work through the head. So we're bringing the head up and into a little bit of extension, looking towards the ceiling. And then nodding the head, drawing the chin towards the chest. A few more of these. Just going as far as what's comfortable. Try and avoid rounding the back and just work through the head and the neck. Lovely, let's do one more nod. And this time, bringing the head up and eyes straight ahead, relax those shoulders. So this one is known as chin tucks. Really fantastic movement for the back of your neck to really strengthen this area here, which unfortunately does tend to get quite tense because your head weighs quite a lot, and actually your neck and your shoulders are doing an awful lot of work to keep your head up on top of your spine. And just naturally, as we age and with degeneration, your head ends up coming forward because those shoulders just can't do the work anymore and things get weaker around the back of the neck. So we want to try and strengthen the back of the neck so we can bring the head up and have better posture. So if you place a finger or two fingers just on the front of your chin. And we're going to think about trying to tuck the chin in towards the neck. So think about trying to come away from your fingers and tuck the chin in. Avoid tipping the head back, it's not extension. And then release and come back to the fingers. So essentially you're creating a double chin is the best way of describing it. So you're tucking the chin in towards you, into the neck, and then releasing it forward to settle. So if I do it on the side, you might be able to see. So tuck the chin in away from the fingers, and then bring it back. Tuck in, and release. So you should feel it in the back of your neck. If you're quite tight, you might not have a lot of movement, so just work wherever feels comfortable for you. And this is a great one to practice. I would recommend this one. Maybe when you're, I don't know, waiting for the kettle to boil, it's quite a nice one to do. Really great for posture. Lovely, let's do it one more time. Creating that lovely double chin that we all want. And then release. And let's take those arms down, come into some shoulder rolls. So we're going to bring those shoulders up towards the ears and then roll them back. And again, coming up and rolling them back. So we're just easing off those shoulders, up towards the ears, rolling them away, down the back. Might be a few clicks and pops happening there this morning if you're a bit tight. And see if you can change direction. So back, up, and circle them forward. Rolling up and forward. Lovely. One more in this direction. And we're just going to do a couple more again going the other way, just so we can bring ourselves back into that nice alignment and relax those shoulders, draw them down the back. So draw them away, feel open across the chest. We've got one more little stretch here for the neck. Now if you want to, feel free to just keep the arms resting down by your side. But if you can, we're going to sit on our right hand. So bring your right hand underneath you and just sit onto it. If it feels uncomfortable, then let it go, that's fine. And then we're going to turn the head now to look to the left corner of the room. And we're going to nod the head, so now you're looking down towards the floor. And if you already feel a stretch, just hold it there. But if you can, bring your left hand now onto the back of your head and draw the head down a little bit further to increase the stretch. And you may well feel this in your neck, your shoulder, maybe in the top of your arm. And this is a really good one if you're having trouble with headaches and tension in the head. This is a good one to do. Again, it's just helping to release those muscles that might be quite tight at the moment. I'm just going to hold it here because it's quite a big stretch. And let's release, bring the head up, take the hand away. And we can come off that right hand. We'll do the same on the other side. So bring your left hand underneath you. We're going to turn and look to the right corner of the room. We're going to nod the head and bring your right hand onto the back of your head and draw your head down a little bit further into that stretch. You might feel tighter on one side. And again, just holding it here. If it's too much, then come off the hand that you're sitting on. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And then release, take the hand away and come off that hand and just roll off those wrists a little bit and shake off the hands. So now we're going to just try and get some really lovely natural movement through the body. So there's lots of connections in the body. We want to try and find those connections and just move as naturally as we can. So we're just first of all going to start in those shoulders again. But we're going to rest the arms down by your side and have the palms facing forward. So your thumbs are pointing out and away from you, palms facing forward. And we're just going to feel what happens as we start to turn the hands and the arms. So start to turn the palms and face behind you. So you roll the thumbs in towards you and keep them rolling. So roll as much as you can and start to feel what happens. A natural response is that your shoulders should start to roll forward, hopefully. So if not, you need to keep rolling until you feel those shoulders moving and rolling forward. And now turning back and keep rolling the palms again and feel that the shoulders respond and roll back and you feel open across the chest. So again, we roll the hands, the arms follow, and then the shoulders respond and the shoulders roll in. Again, rolling the hands back, the arms, the shoulders respond and they roll back and you open the chest. So just feel what happens as you roll the hands, feel that the shoulders move. So you're trying to turn the palms all the way. You might be a little bit limited, but just go as far as you can. And this is a natural response, a natural connection with your arm in your shoulder girdle. Rolling the shoulders forward and then rolling the shoulders back. And now we're going to add to that. So what feels quite natural is to let the spine join in. So you might just feel that you flex forward slightly as you roll the shoulders forward. And then as you start to turn the hands back, the shoulders start to roll back and you might feel that the spine responds and wants to come into a little bit of extension. So you open the chest and look towards the ceiling. Again, we start to roll the palms, roll the arms, roll the shoulders forward and the spine responds and you gently roll forward. And again, rolling the palms, rolling the arms, shoulders roll back and you take the spine into a little bit of extension. So just find what feels natural for you. As you start to move the arms and the shoulders, just feel whatever the spine wants to do. Try not to feel too restricted and just flow. Let the body join in. I'm not going to be too strict today. I'm just going to let you move, find some nice natural movement. Let's do it just a couple more times. Rolling forward. And taking it back into that little bit of extension to finish. And now just settle yourself back into neutral. Just let the arms relax, eyes straight ahead. And now a little bit more movement in those shoulders. We're going to make the movement bigger. If you feel that it's a little bit too much to float the arms all the way, then just continue with the shoulder rolls that we've just done. So this time, we're just going to turn the hands all the way around so the palms are facing outwards, okay? Feels a little bit unnatural here, but it will make sense in a moment as we start to move. So we're now going to start to take the arms forward, let yourself respond with the shoulders and come into a little bit of extension. So almost like you're offering yourself up towards the ceiling. Palms should be facing behind you and your spine is in a little bit of extension. And now we're going to take a breath in and we're going to breathe out as we start to float the arms down. Let the spine follow again and let yourself start rolling forward as you take the arms back behind you, just slightly, not too far. Hold it here, take a breath in and breathing out again as we start to float the arms up. Follow, let the spine come into that little bit of extension again. Breathing in and out as we start to float the arms down. Let the head nod and roll forward through the spine, just as far as feels comfortable for you. Breathing in and out again, floating up. Follow the arms into that nice extension. Breathing in and out as we again come down, nod the head and roll down through the spine. Let's do it one more time each way. So if you remember from previous classes, I've mentioned before that if you have any osteoporosis or osteopenia, focus a little bit more on extension than flexion. Extension is a really healthy movement for the spine, so if you want to, focus on that rather than flexing and rolling down. Finish your last one, roll yourself up to sitting, relax those arms again, give them a shake off if needed. Sitting nice and tall again and lengthened up to the ceiling. Coming into our side reach now. So this is lovely to release tension through the sides of the body, especially if you're not doing as much at the moment. But just try and anchor yourself down to the chair. So try and avoid lifting your bottom off as we reach over. So with one arm, I don't mind which side you go for. Take a breath in as you float one arm up. So just relax the shoulder, make sure that you're not bringing it up and resting it against your head, and then breathing out as you almost feel that you're lifting yourself up and then over into that nice side bend. Feel a nice big stretch down that side and avoid lifting off the chair. Take a breath in as you hold it there and breathing out as we restack and float the arm down. Same on the other side. So we breathe in, float the arm up, relax the shoulder, breathing out as you lift yourself up and over. Feel that nice big stretch again. Hold it here as you breathe in and breathing out as we restack and float it down. Let's do it one more time on each side before we add to it. So again, breathe in as you float the arm, breathing out as we reach over. Breathing in to hold. Breathing out, restack from the center, stack the spine and float the arm down. Lovely. One more. Breathe in and out. Nice big reach over. Breathing in and out. Lovely. Well done. We're going to do 4 more of those. This time we're going to add some extension. If it feels uncomfortable, then feel free to repeat just a normal side bend if you need to. So again, take a breath in as you float one arm up, breathing out again as you reach over as you did before. Now this time, try and turn yourself, so looking behind you and try and look towards the top back corner of the room, depending on how big your room is, of course, but in that direction. So now you're in a little bit of extension, and then we're going to unravel. So you're facing forward again, restack, and float the arm down. So there's a little bit of rotation and extension. So again, breathing in, float the other arm up, breathing out as we reach over. Now try and look behind you. Just let your body follow as you try and look towards the top back corner of the room behind you. Hold it here, take a breath. Breathing out, bring yourself back to face forward, restack, float the arm down. Let's try it one more on each side. So breathing in, floating the arm up, breathing out, coming over. Again, try and let yourself move as you try and look behind you towards the back corner of the room. Breathing in and out. Bring yourself back to the center. Restack. Float the arm down. Last time. Breathing in. Reaching up. Breathing out. Reaching over. Now try and look behind you again. Let your body follow. Try and look towards the back corner of the room. Breathing in. And out. Unravel yourself. Restack. Float the arm down. Well done. Fantastic. So, coming into our hip hinge, which I'm sure you've missed doing. So, we're going to work on our hip hinge, and we're also going to add a little bit of work for the arms and the shoulders. So, I'm going to turn to the side so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So, just make sure that you haven't shuffled back in the chair. Bring yourself forward. Feet and knees still hip width apart and in parallel. Now I'm sure you remember our hip hinge. It's that lovely movement as you come forward, working in the hips and then bringing yourself back up. So we're going to do our hip hinge, but we're going to change the movement of the arms slightly. So rather than floating forward, we're going to float them back, okay? So if you have the arms just down by your side, palms facing behind you, and the arms just slightly in front of your body. We're going to take a breath in, sitting nice and tall. As you breathe out, hinge forward and press the arms back behind you. Breathing in as you come back up to sitting and relax the arms. And again, breathing out as you hinge forward and press the arms back behind you. Breathing in as we come up to sitting. And breathing out, hinge forward, push the arms back behind. Breathing in to come up. Breathing out to press the hands back. Two more like this. So this is quite nice to open across the front of the chest and work the back of your arms. But we're also warming up those hips at the same time. Good. Now as you come back up to sitting, this time float the arms all the way up and let yourself come into that nice extension again. So follow the arms, look towards the ceiling, shine the chest upwards. And now start to float the arms back down and take yourself back into your hip hinge as you take the arms back behind you. And again, start to come up, floating the arms again, reaching to the ceiling. Let your spine follow into that nice back bend. Breathing in and out. Start to float the arms down. Come into your hip hinge again and take the arms back behind you. Breathing in as we come up and floating the arms all the way. Reach to the ceiling into that extension. Breathing in and out. Float the arms down into hip hinge and the arms coming back behind you. Well done. One more and we're going to add to it again. Lovely movement for the spine now as well. Bit of a full body. So this time, coming up, floating the arms again, reach to the ceiling. And now this time, twist the body. So let's rotate to the right and circle the arms all the way around and back down by your side. So we come into the hip hinge and press the arms back. We come up, we start to float and reach back to the ceiling. We're now going to rotate to the left and circle those arms all the way around, coming back down by your side. And again, hinge forward, press the arms back. As you start to sit yourself up, float the arms, reach to the ceiling again. We're going to rotate, turn the body to the right and circle the arms all the way around and back down by your side. Lovely. And again, hinge forward, press back through the arms, sitting yourself back up as you float and reach to the ceiling. We're going to turn the body to the left and circle those arms around and come back to the center. Let's do it one more time on each side. Hinge forward, press back through the arms. Hinging up and reaching the arms, floating them to the ceiling. Twist yourself to the right, circle those arms around as big as you can and back down by your side. Last one. Hinge forward, push back through the arms. Hinging to come up, floating the arms, reach to the ceiling. Twist to the left, circle those arms all the way around, resting back down by your side. And well done, hopefully nice and warm now. We've done a lot of movement there. I'm just going to turn and come back to face you. So this is where we're going to start working ourselves off the chair to possibly come up to standing if you want to. Now, if you prefer, you can stay sitting on the chair. That's absolutely fine. So you can do pretty much everything again in sitting, the same as we do in standing, okay? If you find it's difficult to lift yourself off the chair, try maybe a pillow in between your knees, or if you did purchase a ball from me not that long ago, then you could use your ball and pop it in between the knees. So rather than lifting, you can think about squeezing so that you activate the muscles in the legs, around the glutes and the hips. So try that if you want to. Maybe a pillow in between the knees, but if you can, we're going to try and lift ourselves off the chair. So we'll do a bit of rocking first to build a bit of momentum. So using the hip hinge, resting the arms down by your side. Let's start to rock. So come forward for 1 and 2. And if you can, on number 3, try and just lift your bottom off the chair and then lower yourself back down into sitting. Well done. You didn't forget these. So coming forward for 1 and 2. Build that momentum. On 3, try and lift and then lower back down. Lovely. Let's keep it going. Rocking for 3. Build the momentum. Get the weight forward over your feet and then lift and lower it back down. Keep going. If you're not lifting, think about squeezing your pillow in between the knees. Get those muscles working. Lovely. Let's do a couple more and then we'll come up to standing if you want to. Feel the legs getting a little bit warmer. Maybe just as well that it's not as hot today. A little bit cooler. Okay, now if you want to stay sitting, you can. But this time, if you want to, we're going to come all the way up to standing. So a big push off the chair now. Push up all the way. Fantastic. Well done. So if you are now standing, feel free to maybe organize yourself so you could maybe be behind your chair or have the chair to the side of you, or if you want to have 2 chairs, one behind you, one in front, so you could sit down if you need to and you've got one to hold on to, or maybe if you're in your dining room or your kitchen, then you can hold on to a table or the worktop, okay, as long as you feel safe and whatever you're holding on to is sturdy, okay? So, in sitting or standing, let's just set ourselves up again. Let's just recap good alignment, good posture. So, feet again about hip width apart and in parallel. Keep the knees quite soft if you're standing. So, try and avoid locking your legs back. Keep them quite soft. And then just lengthen up through the spine. So, we're nice and tall. You can hold on to your chair if you need to. Feel that you're tucking your bottom in, so avoid sticking your bottom out behind you. Tuck your bottom in, tuck your tail under, and then we're nicely stacked again with our pelvis, rib cage, head on top. Feel that thread pulling you up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders, rest the arms. If you need to, hold on to a chair or a table next to you. And we're just going to do a little bit of weight transfer first of all. So we're going to let ourselves rock forward. So feel that the weight comes into your toes and into the ball of your foot. And then let yourself rock back, which is a little bit more unnerving. So go careful, don't go too far, so that you feel the weight in your heels. So we come forward, spread the toes into the floor, and then come back and feel the weight in your heels. And just keep it going. If you need to, hold on to a chair. You could do this in sitting and just gently rock yourself forward so you spread the toes, and then back so you send the heels into the floor. So this is just nice because it's sending lots of messages to the brain, especially if you're standing. It just really helps to reinforce the messages so your body knows what's happening. No surprises, hopefully. I won't throw anything in. So just a nice gentle swaying forward and back. And now just stop in the middle and feel that you're equally spreading the weight through both feet. So you don't have the weight into your toes, you don't have it in your heels, you're in the middle of the foot, spreading everything down into the floor so you feel a nice connection through the feet, through the legs, and through the body. We're now just going to work into the head and the neck a little bit, just like we did at the start. So we're going to start with a nod, take a breath, breathing out as you nod the head, chin towards the chest, breathing in as you start to bring the head up and look towards the ceiling again. Breathing out as we start to nod the head, chin towards the chest, and breathing in again as you take the head up and opening the throat. And again, nod the head, chin towards the chest. One more time. Taking the head up. And last time, just nodding the head, chin towards the chest. And bringing the head up, looking straight ahead. And again, we're going to tip the head over. So ear towards shoulder, like you did right at the start. Hold it there. Now take a breath as you come back up to the center. Breathing out to tip over to the other side. Breathing in to come up. And breathing out over to the other side. So again, we're just trying to stretch out and release head, neck and shoulders, because when you do come up to standing, sometimes the response is to feel quite tense, feel that you're almost kind of gripping and holding on to the position. So we're just trying to ease off a little bit. And hopefully you feel maybe a little bit looser than you did at the start. And bringing it back to the center. And now we're going to turn the head. So just roll the head and look to the right. So if you can, look over the right shoulder or as far as you can. Breathe in as you come and look forward. And breathing out now as we look over to the left. Over the left shoulder if you can. Breathing in to look straight ahead. And again, breathing out, roll the head, looking to the right. Breathing out, rolling to look forward. Breathing out, rolling and looking to the left. Let's do it one more time on each side. Again, just as far as you can. Bring yourself back to the center when you're ready. We're going to work into these shoulders again, just like we did at the start. Now, if you're standing, you might feel that as we add to it, you can add more movement than you did when you were on the chair. So again, don't feel restricted, just work wherever feels comfortable for you. So again, we're just going to turn those palms to face out and the thumbs pointing out to the side. So we're going to do the rolling of the hands and the rolling of the shoulders. So we're going to start to roll the palms in and then continue to roll them back behind you. Let the arms and the shoulders respond. So feel that those shoulders slightly roll forward and roll in. And then start to roll the hands out. Keep going. Roll as far as you can. Again, let the shoulders respond and roll back, opening the chest. Again, rolling it forward. And then rolling it back. So that natural response again as you move through the arms, in the shoulders, rolling them forward, rolling them back. And now if you want to, adding the spine. So whatever feels natural, maybe as you roll forward, you feel that the spine wants to roll forward slightly. And then rolling it back. As you take the shoulders back, and you might want to go into a little bit of extension. And again, rolling it forward. Let the spine respond. Maybe let yourself roll down slightly. And coming back up. Now if you're standing, just watch that you don't push the hips forward. It's coming from the upper spine. Keep the knees nice and soft. But you can let yourself roll down slightly through the spine. Whatever feels comfortable and whatever feels natural for you. Lovely, let's do it a couple more times. Rolling it forward. And rolling it up. And let's return ourselves to neutral. Eyes forward, relax those arms and shoulders. Making the movement bigger now if you want to. So coming into floating arms where we come into that little bit of extension again. And again, focus on the extension if you want to, because it's quite a nice release for the spine and maybe limits how much flexion you do. So turning those palms again. And this time, take a breath. Breathe out as you start to float the arms up. Let the spine respond again. Come into that nice little bit of extension. Breathing in and out. Start to float the arms down. Nod the head, chin towards the chest. Let yourself roll down through the spine as the arms continue to come back slightly behind you. Breathing in when you're ready. And breathing out again as we start to roll back up. Bring the arms with you. Again, take the arms up and let the spine follow into that nice extension. Breathing in and out, floating it down. Nod the head. Let your body roll down. Now, if some of you are quite flexible, you can really let yourself go and let yourself roll down as far as you feel comfortable. Taking those arms back behind you. Breathing in. And out again when you're ready to start rolling back up, stacking through the spine and coming back up with the arms into that nice little back bend. Breathing in and out, taking it down. So if you're standing, you've got more movement now. So if you want to, take it as far as you feel comfortable on that roll down. Really just let yourself go. And again, rolling up when you're ready. You could do it without the arms if you want to. If you're feeling it in the shoulders, just let the arms rest and just focus on the spine and just let yourself roll down and then roll back up. Keep the knees nice and soft, trying to avoid locking your legs. Let's go for one more. Rolling up and rolling down. Just really trying to free up the body, free up the spine, just let it move naturally. Last time, rolling it down. And this time as you roll up, we're going to stop in the center. So we're going to stack the spine, return yourself back to neutral. So stack pelvis, rib cage, head on top, looking straight ahead. Just take a nice deep breath in. Just let yourself settle either in sitting or in standing. We're going to work into the hips now a little bit more and eventually come into some leg work in a moment. So we did our swaying forward and back a moment ago. We're now going to think about swaying from side to side. You can do it in sitting, but in standing you'll feel it a little bit more through the legs and through the feet. So let's just transfer the weight over into our right leg. So feel that we plant that foot into the floor, and then we're going to transfer the weight over into the left leg and spread the foot into the floor. And again, transfer the weight over to one side and over to the other. If you need to, hold on to something. Don't make it too big. And again, this is really good to reinforce those messages up to the brain. Because as you transfer the weight, all the joints line up. They've got force going through them. So it sends those messages up to the brain. And then your brain knows that something is about to happen. Maybe we're going to step off, we're going to balance. It's prepared, it's ready. Okay, now what feels quite natural here is to let the hips join in. So as you take it over to the right, just let your hips follow and push them out. So you're almost making a banana shape here through the body. And then we're going to come back up to the centre, take ourselves over to the left, let the hips join in. Again, that nice banana shape through that left side. And again, coming to the centre, take it over to the right, take the hips with you into your banana. Lovely. Coming back to the centre, over to the left. Now, if you're sitting, this is much harder. So just stay on transferring the weight. But if you're in standing, this is quite nice. Gives you quite a big stretch through that side. Again, hold on to something if needed. Letting the hips go with you. Feels quite natural. And what we're going to do now, you might want a chair in front of you because we're going to take that into a side reach. So now let the arm join in. So you've got this nice big side bend all down through the side. Nice big banana. And then we're going to restack, float the arm down and over to the other side. So we take the weight over. We push the hips out, we float the arm. So it feels quite natural to let the arm join in. And then we restack and come back up. Lovely, good, keep it going. Breathe in and out into your banana. Lovely. Breathing in and out as we come all the way back to the centre. Breathe in and out, over into the banana. Breathing in and out as we come back up. We're going to add our little bit of extension that we did earlier on in sitting. So again, breathe in, float the arm, breathe out, take yourself into your banana. See if you can hold it there. And now start to look behind you. Try and look towards that back corner again, like we did earlier on. Breathe in and out to release. Come back up and float the arm down. So it's a little bit harder now in standing. Breathing in on the other side, float the arm. Breathing out, let's come into our banana. You could just hold it there, or if you can, try and look behind you towards that back corner. Breathing in and out to release, restack, float the arm down. We're just going to do one more on each side. Breathe in and out into your banana. Breathing in and out. Let's restack and come back up. Last one. Reaching up and over. Try and look to that back corner. Breathe in and out to release. And restack. Well done. Roll those shoulders. Have a little walk through the feet there if you need to. So, we're going to work into these legs now. We're going to come into our squats. I'm sure you've missed them. So, if you're sitting, then you're going to be doing your hip hinge. And if you know that maybe your legs are a little bit weaker, any issues with your knees, you might want to come onto the chair and do it in sitting. But if you can, we're just going to take the feet a little bit wider than hip width, where it feels comfortable for you, not too wide. And again, just spread the feet into the floor. We're still standing nice and tall, but we're going to come into a squat now. So we're going to really work into these legs. Imagine that you swallowed a big stick, so you can't round and hunch over as you squat. So we're keeping our neutral spine as we squat down. If you need to, have a chair in front of you so you can hold on as you squat, okay? But if you can, we're going to breathe in as we squat and just reach through the arms. And then breathing out as we come back up, stand and squeeze the glutes on the way up. So we breathe in as we come down and squat, and breathing out as we push up, squeeze the glutes. Breathing in to come down, and breathing out as we come up. Lovely, keep it going. Going for 8, you're on number 4. And if you're sitting, you're doing a hip hinge like we did earlier on. Quite nice in standing because you really have to mobilize knees, ankles, hips. Make sure that the knees are going straight over your toes. They're not falling in towards each other. Last one. And coming up into standing. We're going to change the position now with the feet slightly. So if anyone's done ballet before, we're going to come into a first position or a plie position. So try and bring your heels as close together as you can. Turn the toes out. So you've zipped up through the legs, heels as close together as you can, or if you need to, have the feet a little bit wider if needed. If you're sitting, then just take the feet out into a wide position here, wherever it feels comfortable, okay? And again, we're going to come into our squats. Feels a little bit different in this position now. So if you need to, take the feet out a little bit wider, but if you can, working here, we're going to take our breath in again as we come down and squat, and breathing out as you push up and squeeze the glutes again. So breathing in, come down, so feel the legs open, and then breathing out, try and zip those legs together on the way up. Yeah? So breathing in to come down, breathing out to come up and zip the legs together. Well done. Breathing in, coming down, and breathing out as we come up. Lovely. Breathing in and out. Good. One more. Breathe in and out. Now you can continue with those if you want to. Just focus on the movement in the legs. This time we're going to start adding the spine back in. So if I quickly demonstrate, because there's quite a lot happening here. So this time you're going to come down into that plie, into that squat. But this time as you push up, you're going to take the arms with you and reach to the ceiling, circle around, and then come back down again. So if you've done ballet before, then this will be quite familiar. Okay? So breathe in as you squat and just reach through the arms. Breathing out as you come up and reach to the ceiling. Circle the arms all the way around. And again, breathe in to squat. Breathe out to come up, reach to the ceiling, and circle the arms. Breathe in to come down. Breathe out to push up, take the arms up to the ceiling, circle around. 4 more. Breathing in. And out, coming up. Circle the arms. Lovely. Keep it going if you can. If you're sitting, you could just focus on the movement of the arms if you want to. It's getting a little bit much for the hips. We've got 1 more to go. And down. Lovely. Well done. Now take those feet back to hip width. And we're just going to have a little loosening off of the ankles. So if you want to, you can do this in sitting, because it's a little bit of balance work involved, or just hold on to your chair next to you. So if you can, we're just going to lift both heels. My cat's decided to stand right in the middle there. So we're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just lift onto the toes. So lift both heels from the floor, and then breathe in as you lower them down. Breathing out as you lift, breathing in as you lower. So you could do this in sitting as well if you want to. Just lifting the heels and then lowering. I think my cat is probably blocking my feet here. And this is quite nice because it just helps to get the blood pumping. And if you do feel as though your feet are a little bit hot, a little bit swollen, then this is quite nice because it just helps to push the blood, push the fluid around, and hopefully reduce any swelling. If you can, come up onto those toes and just hold it there. And now send one heel down and then switching over. So one up, one down. So a little bit of a walking through the feet. Again, just quite nice to get that blood pumping. Just to ease off those legs a little bit when you've been standing. Just breathing naturally. Lovely, and let's come to a stop, lower the heels. And if you are standing, you can just bring your chair back and stand in front of your chair. And we're just going to slowly lower ourselves onto the chair. So make sure that it's behind you. We're just going to slowly lower ourselves down. So I'll count us down from 10. So if you can, try and stay off the chair until I get to number 1. But if you need to, feel free to come down before. So a nice slow squat. So let's start to take it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself down onto the chair. Well done. Oh, okay. So let's just settle onto the chair. So you can shuffle back a little bit now, but just make sure that your feet are still flat on the floor. You're not leaning back into the chair and you're not compressing the rib cage and the lungs, because we're now just going to focus on taking some nice deep breaths. And especially because we're all being less active at the moment, so we're probably not getting the heart rate up and taking those nice deep breaths. So it's really good to try and focus on some deep breathing when you can, so that you're really trying to use the full capacity of your lungs. Keep them healthy, keep those muscles moving, so your intercostal muscles, so you don't get tight and you're not restricting your breathing. So, sitting where it feels comfortable, still sitting nice and tall, lengthened up through the spine. And we're just going to place the hands onto the top of the chest, so just underneath your collarbones. So if you can just feel with your fingers where your collarbones are, you could just rest your hands just there below the collarbones on the top of your chest. So we're going to start by breathing quite shallow, and we're going to try and focus the breath into our hands here at the top of the chest. So take a big breath in through your nose. Try and take the breath into your hands, and then breathing out. And again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And try and focus your breath here into the top of the chest, top of the lungs. And this is the most common way of breathing. We don't tend to breathe deep. So this probably feels quite easy at the moment, breathing up here. And now we're going to move the hands. So now we're going to take them below the chest. So feel where your rib cage is. Again, give yourself a bit of a poke. Feel where your rib cage is and just try and bring your hands around the rib cage. If you can, try and get your thumbs to come around the rib cage. So you're feeling the ribs. And we're now going to try and focus here. So into the middle of the lungs, middle of the rib cage. We're going to take a nice deep breath in and try and expand into your hands. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. So a little bit harder, but you should be able to feel that the rib cage is expanding and then the rib cage is closing as you exhale. So just focus on a few deep breaths again. So you've taken the breath a little bit deeper. We're now using those intercostal muscles, giving them a bit of a stretch with those nice deep breaths. We're trying to take the breath into the sides and the back of the rib cage, not just the front. So a 360 breath, as much as you can. Takes a bit of practice. Again, one that I would recommend at the moment. And now lastly, we're going to take the hands down a little bit further. So just take them down
right to the bottom of your rib cage. So again, you might need to give yourself a bit of a poke. And these ribs right at the bottom are floating. They're not really attached to anything. So try and really feel. They're quite low down, lower than you think. Not quite on your belly, but just down, maybe above your waist, above your waistline slightly. Give yourself a poke. Feel those ribs. And now we're going to try and take the breath right down here into the bottom of the lungs and the bottom of the rib cage. So again, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Much harder. Breathe out. You probably feel that you need to take a longer breath in. So really try and take that breath right down into your hands. And out. A big breath in. Trying to get right down to the bottom of those lungs. You're going to feel that your belly is joining in a little bit here. That's okay. As long as you try and feel a bit of an expansion into the hands. And one more breath. Exhale. Relax the arms and the hands. Just release those shoulders and just take a couple of natural breaths now. So just breathing naturally and just focus on that nice natural rhythm of your breathing. Don't worry about where it's going. Just breathe and let yourself relax. And well done, we are finished.